Came out of this was, look at that. Look at that.
Just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should probably pause this, which is amazing. Get yourself a wife. Starting off the video, yeah, that's a weird thing to start off with, but yeah, get yourself a wife. So when you have an anniversary, she thinks for you. And I spend so much time out here, powder coating, working on stuff, filming stuff, etc. I'm always having to watch videos because obviously I do YouTube, which I watch YouTube too. So yeah, sitting there watching, you know, stuff on my phone and on this tiny little screen, and she goes ahead and thinks ahead for me. Wall mount, nice little TV. You can get to watch my YouTube now. Just hang out over here, sit with my parts, etc. Yeah, we're starting off the video that way with make sure you treat your wife good. It's a real good thing to do. But finally done with this powder coating job. Finished up this last differential, which I believe came out absolutely amazing. I love this thing so much, and I'm actually pretty jealous and wish I did the diffs on my big truck, but that has nothing to do with today's video. We have a Dart. We have a Corvette. You saw in the last video, we got the Corvette running. We actually got it driving after sitting for a decade, and now it's time to dive into El Darto here. I have this thing pushed all the way forward, which is going to make things a little fun. We have some light set up back there, but before we dive into working on it, a little explanation. So you saw we got the car home. It did fire up, and I have pulled a bunch of the things out. So we've unhooked a bunch of things, battery, some wiring, pulled the fuel tank that we actually had sitting in the back seat, roadkill style, because the fuel lines aren't hooked up properly. A bunch of miscellaneous odds and ends, and we're going to start slowly tearing the car down to a point where we can then put it back together the way I want it to be. Probably get rid of the points and go to an electronic ignition. If the camera wants to pick up, actually we can cheat it with some light here. We got to redo the fuel system. As you see, this fuel line right here is the one that needs to be ran to what was hooked up into the gas tank that was set in the trunk all a roadkill style. I want to redo the wiring so it's not a fire hazard. There's a bunch of little things I want to do. The paint is just, there's 90 things under the hood. Obviously the rust in the back floor pan. There's just a bunch of miscellaneous odds and ends. The seats are held down with pieces of wood that you can't really see. Yeah, I have a size 14 boot and it goes through there pretty easy. Bunch of things, tires, brakes, check on the, we need to go through the whole car head to tail light. The main thing is what I was told from Dead Dodge Garage, Jamie, was the fuel system seems to be getting water into the tank, and then when he got the car back, looks like the previous owner had unhooked the tank up here, and why? Neither of us know. So instead of talking about it, let's pull the tank, figure out why, and go from there. If it can get fuel up to the front and we can get it to start, that's half the battle. I mean, running it from a tank, gas can, whatever, works, but getting it to run off the actual stock tank works better. So that's the plan. Enough talk, enough ramble. Let's just get into some B-roll. So I know we're thinking to ourselves after seeing all that B-roll, I worked late into the night last night getting the tank actually out of the car, and is it worse than the entire thing? When I said, is it, I meant everything, head to toe. Is it worse than I thought it was? Yeah, a lot worse. And when I mean a lot, I mean a lot worse. As we dove into the trunk seal is, well, falling apart, needless to say. The actual portion of the trunk through here isn't the worst, as I flake some away with my finger. Around the trunk portion seal itself, it's actually pretty solid. You got a tiny little hole here, and then coming over here, it's a little thin, but it doesn't go through anywhere. And then we have a couple little guys through here. This is a lot worse than I thought it was in the daylight, but this is all something. But it's not the gas tank. The gas tank is over here. So looking at it, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. This all might be salvageable. We'll check in a minute. What came out of this was, look at that. Look at that. There's more water and rust than there is fuel in there. It looks like we're the rover exploring the Titanic together. But the inside of the tank, I need a flashlight real fast, but the inside of the tank isn't that bad. It's a little scaly. Got a couple little spots that I'm not too happy about. I need something to try and poke the top of the tank with, actually. But I mean, the car itself, yeah, it needs a little bit of rust work, a little wiring work, a little body work, a lot of work, a lot of love. It's not impossible to fix, and it's a solid bones car. I mean, small block Mopar, 4-speed. It's an A833 iron case. We have an 8 3/4 big bolt pattern rear end. I'm happy. I'm excited. As long as this guy as long as that doesn't happen, should be fantastic. Shit. Well, change of plans? I don't know. What is it? That one, and I believe this one were for today's video, which involved the gas tank and fixing all that and putting it back together, getting the fuel system redone. Clearly, that is no longer part of the plan, and we're not going to be doing that today. So, on today's video of Average Joe Builds, we're going to be restoring a trunk of a 1972 Dodge Dart. In all seriousness aside, all jokes aside, a little seriousness here. It's not as bad as I thought. A couple little odds and ends. I do need to go and wire wheel a bunch of it out. Okay, I got a jacket on. I can actually talk now and not freeze myself out to death. Less jokes, more seriousness. It's not that bad. I mean, if I go, actually probably to like there, might come over somewhere in there. You can't see any of that now, but yeah, we'll just new patch there. Might knock a little piece in here. Everything else is, I mean, we don't worry about this side. Not just yet. We're worrying about just in here. Obviously, this looks absolutely terrible. Just the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm kidding. I've seen cars with no trunks. The Fairmont. The problem with the Fairmont, I don't know if you're new here, we had a turbo 4.8 78 Fairmont on the channel, and none of this existed. All of the back window parcel was just rotted out. A couple little pinholes. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's literally, what, 1, 2, yeah, I might end up scabbing a section in here. A little piece, we might just do like a whole lip. But the rest is, that vibrates a lot. I mean, even the spots that are soft aren't that soft. Am I gonna grab a screwdriver and try and stab through them? Probably won't do that again, but I don't know about you guys. It looks like a bunch of wire wheeling, some rust converter, a little bit of grinding, a little bit of welding. Is that electrical tape? I'm guessing there's supposed to be a bushing that holds that in place. And it seems to be missing. And they that might get a tack weld. But yeah, we're just gonna be fixing the trunk up, it looks like. I have some goodies that we can throw on some of this area once this is all fixed up, but I'm not trying to redo the wheel here. I don't know, maybe we clean up to this line. Maybe we just, in between my finger, you know, go around the whole lip. Probably not do that metal work now. Just get it cleaned up and in some primer, and then something I can go back through and chop out later and fix. Okay, I'm gonna continue doing this instead of trying to half-ass it. Yeah, let's B-roll a whole bunch of toxic death. So after a ton of B-roll, is that on the screen? Oh, no. Hey, where was the safety thing covering? It's still on my nose. Yeah, great, fantastic. So, nothing of this is working out how I planned. It's fantastic. Notice there's no light because I've already put the lights away. So yeah, we made there's a couple extra holes that there wasn't to begin with, and you're wondering why there's white primer down. It's supposed to be like clean metal primer. Obviously this wasn't clean metal. It's just some primer I was trying to put down, and something was wrong in the can. It's not drying. It's been hours and it's not dried at all yet. So that's fantastic. I'm gonna have to go through and probably sand a bunch of that back out, but it was just to give me a kind of an idea. I'm gonna end up having to cut that piece out. Obviously we're gonna cut that piece out. Those little guys probably get left, but I might do something about that side. I'm not quite sure there yet, but I got the trunk seal all cleaned out and it looks a million times better than it did, except for over there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean up a bunch of this, get it painted, primed, more or less. And I know there's going to be a bunch of rust repair and a bunch of people in the comments that are like, why are you painting before you're going to do rust repair? This is just a temporary fix. I just want to get the trunk in one color and nice, and then we'll repair that. We'll think about repairing those. And then prime the trunk seal, get the trunk seal on, go from there. I might have to do something to the trunk itself because it's getting a little bit gross. Yeah. That's what happens when you do not have a trunk seal and you let your car sit forever. Especially if you have a, a moist climate. Pacific Northwest, it's always moist.
The next day.
An early Saturday. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm not into it yet. I'm tired, so gonna sound a little bit like a zombie. Don't worry. We'll get some energy going, a little bit of coffee, etc. But you see what's happened. Get my hood off me. You see what's happened behind me. It's a can of worms, to say the least. Started the video off trying to work on the gas tank. Gas tank didn't necessarily work. And now this is where we're at. Tried to flip the camera screen there and it turned that. That's not what I wanted. So yeah, I don't even know what to say. Don't worry, that hole is supposed to be there. It's for the gas tank, filler neck seal, etc. But all of those holes. Those aren't supposed to be there. And that, yeah, that's not supposed to be there. Don't worry, this is just lame. This is all just extra, yeah, move all this. Bad. I mean, it's just, if you get in down here, it's just a little bit of rust in from underneath the seam seal that was there. If you're not familiar with A-body Mopars, everything, it's a unibody, everything's seam sealed together. So, climbing into the herpes pit is like I affectionately call it now. Yeah, so all of these seams had seam sealer running all the way up. And basically, that's how the entire car is attached together. Spot welded panels, they glue it with a factory seam sealer glue, etc. This is all just chipping off with my knife, and it's wet underneath. The moisture has gotten to a point where it's just letting it all peel up. Me being me, not knowing when to quit, I started in the trunk and, oh, I need to finish a video out. I screwed up and the gas tank didn't work and had to order a gas tank, which I did order. Ordered a lot of things, don't worry. Yeah, so we got to that point and started cleaning, and as I clean and clean, it gets worse and worse, and this is where we're at now. We're going to restore the trunk all the way to basically this line where you see where the back seat would go. Essentially that way, because once I clean all this, I can then put a piece of tape or plastic, cardboard, something to seal the back seat area for now, and then I can start on the interior portion. I gotta take this headliner down as one of them, and that's not gonna get the trunk all nasty, because half of this gross that you see everywhere is actually from there. It's just I mean, look at that. That's from grinding in the trunk. So you see I've even gone as far as there's no steering column in the car now. Yeah, I've done a little more than I anticipated. Say the least. I'm gonna end up titling this video "The Largest Can of Worms I've Ever Opened" or something like that. But I just want to get up in those wheel wells a little bit. We're gonna clean that area out ever so slightly, and then we're gonna just finish the trunk out. I have some plans that I've never gone through and done before. I bought my first can of weld-through primer. I've worked at many hot rod shops. I have used many cans of weld-through primer, but I've never personally had to buy one myself. That's $47. That sucked. But we're doing a little extra, a little above and beyond here. I know this is a little bit of a ramble clip, and I've gone on and on and on, but don't you worry, Dart. Don't you worry. We're gonna look. I think the floor just collapsed a little bit with my not fat ass sitting on it, so. Yeah, now you see why we're doing this? I just can't. The car is too close to being nice for me to just go, meh, screw you, and just leave it. Gotta fix it. Gotta fix it. So let's fix it. And of course the camera doesn't focus, but you see them all the way down. Wheel tubs, everything through the trunk to the trunk panel, all of that. Stitch welded. And now the fun part, actually. So obviously I still have to cut out underneath there and put that panel in, which I'm not dreading as much as this. This is gonna suck because I really want to two-layer this. Look how weak that is. And obviously the metal is super tinny, so that's gonna be fun, but yeah, thinking obviously where there was some good metal in a straight line, I'll probably come through here at first like this, and then come up over, because it's some crap. I don't know, I might try to come through there, but there is obviously the frame rail under that, so I want to clean all that up. And I want to, I've said it a million times, I want to replicate this double layer, and I want to try and, that's where it goes, that's where it ends, etc. So we're going to cut that piece in like that, and then take some of these scraps and we're going to fill in a few odds and ends. Probably end up this being a piece. I'll try and save this triangle because it's solid, and I'll come through here and I might do something like, I don't know, we'll figure that part when the time comes, and then we'll probably just chop this out now because I don't know, this, yeah, we just gotta get that piece out. So lots of time lapsing of cutting, grinding, welding, blending, etc. The usual. I'll go through and I'll step by step a little bit of this with you guys once we get it all cut out and start to blend this patch in case anybody's interested in learning some hack at-home tips. But that I'm just gonna probably knock off camera. It's gonna be a lot of grinding, cutting, and all of this to make this trunk just look halfway decent. I did what, my Trump today or something. And then we'll go through, we'll DA all of this smooth. And like I said, I'm just going to the brace. For now, we're gonna come down and literally like, oh, a spider. I bet all the spiders are pissed up there from all the noise I'm making, but yeah, I'll just basically come down. I'll come like an inch past this and get that all sanded and painted. But then I'm gonna tape this entire thing down with some plastic. That way when I do the interior area, oh, touch my head, oh, gross. That way when I do the interior area, it doesn't blow back, just ruin the trunk. But then I'm not having to, I don't know, you know what I mean, and you'll see what I mean. Just enjoying some Vice Grip Garage and some Dead Dodge Garage in there on the TV, and having some fun. I know what you're thinking. What the hell, man? What the hell? An A-body purist is, he's gonna hate me. He, she, whoever, they're gonna hate the holy hell out of me, but I'm doing my best, man. Home Depot's helping though. Yeah, so Home Depot 16 gauge. 72 dart. They're working together great, yeah. I just, like I said before, drilled out the spot welds. I banged out this lower panel, which was connected to this upper layer, and there's actually this shelf right here where it was attached. This is in such good condition, I'm gonna pop a couple little spot weld holes, and I'm gonna weld those from the bottom. I'm running the mic all into this. I can barely bend over. I should have made the car higher. My back is killing me. This panel should drop in under this lip and on top of that lip just perfectly. I'm gonna soak all of this in some weld through primer before I start doing that. I just gotta shape up the metal a little bit. Get the weld through here, some rust converter, odds and ends. But yeah, once we weld in these corners, get this panel, this panel, and this panel, and then make all of that look like this again. The last thing to do is knock in that panel on that side to alleviate the holy hell that is that corner. I'm not spending $129 to replace that one panel when I've spent $60 to do all of this. Come on now, come on. I know I don't get a couple of the factory little rivets and divots and whatever. I don't really care. Don't really care. But while I'm doing some stuff on camera and then off camera, messing with steering column stuff, watching Dead Dodge Garage's videos and finding out that this steering column comes from like the Ocean Scamp, I'm pretty stoked on that actually. I really like that fact that I'm gonna get to keep a piece of Mopar history going, because I'm gonna use guts from this and these two and make a one, and then we're gonna have a good steering column again. But yeah, we're just doing a whole bunch of stuff on camera, off camera, doing stuff in the house. I got so many things, so many fires and so many ovens, like I've said a million times, but having some fun, getting this car back on the road. We have a bunch of parts on the way for it, and so I'm just gonna keep grinding, keep welding, and I'll see you guys shortly once we get a little bit more progress made. But man, wish the weather would just try to cooperate a bit. This nasty rain just constantly kicking my butt. Okay, pause my Vice Grip Garage, which you can't even see. I just realized that the camera doesn't necessarily, oh there you go, you can kind of see it. The camera doesn't actually pick up the TV, which is weird, but it's the next day. Getting some wonderfully cared for boxes by FedEx. Thanks FedEx, you guys are the best there. It's not like I cared about that part, but it's the next day, morning, whatever, and you ever started a project that towards the end of it, you regret all of it. You're just, why did I start doing this? But yeah, we wanted to just take the fuel tank out. So this video started off initially. That's all I wanted, was this stupid gas tank to come out so I could fix the top of it, or in my case, stab a screwdriver through it. Whatever. But yeah, now that that is all said and done with, we are on to final step of this shenanigans. So it's not even going to want to focus. There we go. I got that panel knocked in, got all of this roughed in, and I mean, everything's looking great. We don't have holes everywhere. We got some just miscellaneous junk and paint and sealer and stuff fixed along the drip rails up here where the new seal will be going. Everything is looking fantastic, but to finish that all off, I want to make it all one nice layer. So we're gonna run a DA over it, or orbital, or whatever the hell, just clean it all off. Of course, it starts raining again. Just can't get a dry day anymore to save my life, but we're done with the trunk. I'm so excited to have this thing looking amazing. I got a tiny little run there. I'm just thinking of blotting it with a paper towel because it's textured. It is a little bit of bed liner, so you won't really be able to see it, but holy crap. As the ISO adjusts, look at that. You can barely, I mean, there's a little bit that you can tell through there that it got a patch panel. Down here, this patch panel came out great. I mean, obviously, there's nice clean metal, and then there's not clean metal, so you're gonna be able to tell no matter what, but I don't care. I'm not gonna have leaks in my trunk, and if I was to throw a jack and some tools and a spare tire in here, that whole portion isn't gonna just collapse and fall out. But before we can finish this and say it's an actual done installation and trunk's all set, I need to throw the trunk latch back on, which is actually in here drying. I was cheating and using the heater while I'm running in and watching more of Ice Script Garage because I haven't caught up on my episodes, but once the trunk latch dries, we can throw that on. But before all of that, we cannot forget the main thing that we need, a proper trunk seal, which when I got the car it had like 2 or 3 pieces of the trunk seal. So I'm gonna get the trunk seal set up. I'm gonna probably just time lapse this because, to be honest, I know the way the trunk seal goes. I watched some YouTube videos, but I'm a little bit nervous putting this on here. I should have bought more of the weather stripping glue. I got 2 of the tiny tubes of the black, and then I noticed all the videos I watched, they had this one giant tube, but it basically gets set in, gets glued in, and that's why I fixed these corners up and fixed these corners up, is because who cares if you have a good seal if the water just leaks in before the seal matters. But this way the trunk will be able to seal, keep the water out of here. Like I said, we have the factory trunk mat on order, which should be here from Classic Industries anytime, and then we can start on all of that disaster. I don't know about you guys, I'm excited to get this video done. I'm excited to get more parts going on this thing. I have boxes that are showing up already. All of those boxes, and then we have a whole, I can tell from the shop app, we have a whole list of parts showing up during the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way. Let's get this going, get this trunk seal on, and get this video wrapped up, shall we? I've done a lot of things that I thought were shitty in my life. Can you see? Let's see. It's not gonna get picked up. Oh yeah, you can just see it. The spray getting blown in from the wind while I'm trying to glue this damn seal down with not enough clamps or the right shape or the. You guys want to see what a mental breakdown looks like? Okay, I'm gonna try and do this off camera and just deal with it. I'll see you guys when it's done. I don't know about you guys. I could say I'm done. I mean, the clips are still holding this last little piece on. This corner, like here-ish, needs to dry. But once it's dry, I'm done. Done for the night. Get in the house and actually edit this episode. I did throw in the new trunk seal. I might pull these screws out because they're the original screws, and they're, as much as I wire wheeled them, they didn't clean up that great. I was going to paint the fill neck silver, and I just left it the black that it was. Knocked down some dirt, of course, because trying to fight that thing in there. If you've ever done a body filler necks, and I think I actually have it on the wrong side too. I think I'm supposed to have, go on. I think I'm supposed to have the lip on the opposite side, but I don't care because, yep. And I think I screwed the cap up by pulling on it too hard, or it could be because this bolt's not tightened all the way down. I don't really care. It works. I'll be able to put fuel into it when I have a gas tank. Speaking of which, we started this episode off wanting to put a fuel tank, or wanting to just clean the fuel tank, and that didn't ever work. So like you saw earlier and I said earlier, new gas tank that FedEx so wonderfully packaged, but we're not putting that in now. We're ending the episode out with that, a wonderful trunk seal installation, a wonderful trunk repair, and of course, now on to all of this. Did that panel just, it did. But yeah, now on to that fun. That's all for another video. We have so many parts on the way for this thing. It's gonna be a enormous amount of content. Next up, I want to throw the fuel tank in, redo the fuel lines, get the steering column back in, get it to run again, so it's actually, I don't know, just some motivation. And then from there, work on the interior. But now, I'm gonna let you guys go. So if you like what you saw, leave me a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more work. What I'm now affectionately calling the tetanus shot, but with that, I'm gonna let you guys go. I will see you on the next one. Average Joe Builds, I'm out of here.